crap is amazing. Oh, guys, I'm glad you're here. You're gonna love this video. I'm putting this awesome video together as a review on Chemipure. Boyd Enterprises was awesome enough to send me a bunch of their product that I could try out. You're gonna love this video. Make sure you watch the whole thing to get all this information, because if you're one that likes to use chemical filtration, I gotta say, these results are amazing. Chemipure, been around for 60 years. Lucky for you, I have experience using a lot of different chemical filtration medias in many different tanks, and I have the awesome ability to try Chemipure out and see how they do. So stick around, snap the seatbelt in, get you a drink, sit down, enjoy the video. Don't be in a rush, have fun, because I cover all the bases. I'm going to tell you all about each of these and what they do for you, and we're putting them to the test in my aquarium, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. This was an exciting review to do. Something that I want to add in real quick, guys, is the fact that I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not monetized on my channel. I have nothing to lose by giving a bad or a good review. This is just me being honest and true to my viewers, and I reached out to a company to ask if I could review their product, and they were kind enough to do it. So understand, anything that goes forward from here on out, it is an unbiased review. This is my first time using this product, and anything I do, say, show is just a reflection on my first time experience with it and what I've done in the past. Hey guys, this is the 75-gallon mbuna tank. I do keep the pH higher in this tank. It's around 7.8. I do that naturally using the Texas Holy Rock here and the cichlid sand there. But we're going to go ahead. This is day one of putting Chemipure Blue in this tank. We're going to stick it in there. Why Chemipure Blue is good for cichlid tanks that you do have higher pH in, that it's not going to be really planted. Chemipure Blue is designed just for this kind of a tank right here, so it's going to be the perfect try to see how it does. We're going to stick it in. I'm going to write these dates down and monitor this. We're going to see how the water clarity clears up, and we're going to see if my nitrates get lowered in lieu of the directions. We have to keep in mind, you got to follow the directions. So if I put this sack of Chemipure Blue in here and it discolors and it goes away and gets exhausted quickly, that's because there's a lot of too much nutrients in this tank, too much phosphates, too much I know where the nitrates are, they're okay, but you get the idea. It's the same with all the chemical filtration. If there's too much of it, it has to work harder and it's going to get exhausted faster. Therefore, as the directions state, you'll have to take it out and put another sack in. So let's put one in here, and we're going to write this down and monitor it and see how things go. Chemipure Blue for this 75-gallon mbuna tank. So Boyd was kind enough to send me different sizes and different bottles of their media, and one of which is this larger one that's good for 75 gallons. I'm just going to show you what it looks like and crack this open. They do recommend that you want to, as a seal, you want to keep it's a little hard to get it out, but they do recommend rinsing it off real quick before you put it in the tank. Their formula does have the quick wash carbon in it, which means it's low dust, and they do have their resin mix in it. And here's what it looks like coming out of the bottle. Okay, we're going to give this a quick rinse. We're going to go put it in the hang of the bag. Well, I can say so far that they are accurate in what they said. It is a quick rinse. It took no time at all, and there was absolutely no more dust coming off of this bag. After you rinse it, you can put it right in the filter, so let's go do that. And that's that. We got it in the 75-gallon. Like I said, we're going to mark it down, and we're going to monitor this tank and see how much of a difference it can make in this tank. Now, like I said, this bag is rated for 75 gallons. This is a 75-gallon aquarium, and why that's a perfect fit is because I do not actually have 75 gallons of water volume in this tank, because once you have your rocks, your decor, your sand, anything in this tank, like your heaters that take up space, including the actual measurements of the tank itself, is not exactly 75 gallons. I have a little bit over filtration of the chemical media, so it's a perfect fit for this tank. So here's the mbuna tank 11 hours later from when I put the Chemipure Blue in this tank. As you can see, it has already cleared up really nice. The water looks crystal clear. So I'm pretty impressed so far. I did add 2 packs in. The 11-ounce bottle is good for 75 gallons, which 1 pack is a little more than I need for this tank, because there's not 75 gallons of actual water volume in this tank. But I did add the second one because I do have a pretty good stocking in this tank, as you can see with all these mbunas in here. So there's a pretty good load. When I tested my tank this morning, it was at about 60 ppm. I'm going to let this go for the next week and see if the 2 sacks of Chemi Blue can bring the nitrates down as well, and we'll monitor it. Thanks for standing by, guys. Alright guys, as you can see here, 11 hours later I tested the nitrates just a little bit ago. This has been sitting for 5 minutes. It's at 20 ppm. You can see it's got that orange coloring. 20 ppm may be starting to approach low 40s, but it is on the orange, more orange end of the scale, not red. When I did this 11 hours ago, that tank was sitting at 60 ppm. The only thing that changed was the Chemi Blue. I have never had that with Purigen. Purigen has never made that kind of an impact on nitrates. And I, like I said, double, tripled the dose with that, and it still didn't make an impact on the nitrates. So, that's win number 2 for Chemi. So guys, this is my 55-gallon Tiger Barb tank. The lights are slowly starting to go out, so we'll check this in the morning. But in this tank, I am reviewing the Chemi Elite. Chemi Elite is a superior filtration media for fresh, reef, and marine aquariums. It's an all-in-one filter media. It's a phosphate removal formula. It contains Chemi, the original all-in-one filter media with high-grade granular ferric oxide added for algae control in your aquarium. It's an all-in-one, easy-to-use nylon bag. I can already tell that the water quality is already higher in this tank. I've been monitoring since I put it in. But I will show you guys proof of that in the morning, what it looks like. Another reason why I wanted to use that in this tank is because, one, the sacks that it came with are good for up to 25 gallons. I put 2 of them in to hang on the back. This is a 55-gallon tank. With everything in it, I do have less than 50 gallons in here. So these 2 sacks should do this tank perfect. I am also going to monitor and see if there's any impact on my plants, because these plants are doing pretty good. The junk valve's taking off and growing. The Amazon sword looks great. We're going to see how it reacts in this tank as time goes on. So, let me check the nitrates real quick in this tank. And here we are 5 minutes later. And as you can see, it's very light orange. This is 10 ppm nitrates. The last time I did a water change on all my tanks was at 2/16. Today is the 24th. So that's been a little over a week ago. My tanks generally stay anywhere between 20 to 80 ppm. I do my water changes monthly, and at the end of that month I am at the 80 ppm. So I did use the Chemi Green in my 29-gallon over here, and I did use the Chemi Green Nano in my little 10-gallon Serpe Tetra tank down here. Never had a chemical media work so well, and this is my first time using Chemi. I've always used Purigen and Carbon prior to that, and so far this stuff's blowing Purigen out of the water, so stand by, guys. Alright guys, so I came out this morning and checked on the 2 tanks, which is the next day after adding the different Chemi in the Tiger Barb tank and the mbuna tank, and understand that I'm not getting paid for this review. I'm not monetized. I have used Purigen and Carbon as said previously in the video, and I have never had results like I had with this Chemi. I am utterly impressed so far, and I am only not even halfway into my review. So let me get out of the way and let me show you the crystal clarity of this water. And there's something else about Chemi that some people may not know if you don't actually read what the product does, because I'm seeing a lot more, even more activity in my fish. Okay, so let's check it out. Now, it's hard for me to get a really good view of the tank because of the glare and the sun coming in, but as you can see, this Tiger Barb tank water quality is fantastic. Look at them swimming around excited. They are swimming around excited because I'm here and they think they're going to get food, and it is the morning, the day I feed them. But they're not starving. They feed every 2 days. But just look at the clarity of this tank. This water is amazing. Like I said, I'm not getting paid for this. I have nothing to lose by giving a bad or a good review. And if you follow my channel, I have no problem giving bad reviews and opinion on people when it's credited. But I have nothing bad to say about this product so far. It continues to impress me. Look at this. This is a way overstocked 75-gallon African cichlid tank with mbunas that keep busting out babies. I had to add extra filtration to this tank because the water was starting to get too kind of like murky and cloudy due to the excess load. This ChemiPure got this water looking. I mean, I don't know what it looks like for you guys, but on my end, if you're here, maybe it's something you just got to try for yourself. I don't know. But I know my tanks. I spent a lot of time with them, too much time. And the water has never looked like this. The fish are vibrant. I mean, they always have been. Now I'm going to tell you in my review what I mean about this in this video. Beautiful. So apparently in the original formula ChemiPure, and I don't know if this quick fact carries across all the versions, but one of the things this stuff is said to do is cause quicker responses in fish. It helps cause neurological reactions quicker in fish, similar to what they would do in the wild as needed, because when you're out in the wild, you're in a lot more of a dangerous habitat. You got to be quick. You got to be on your fins, so to speak. Haha. But yeah, that's one thing that this claims it does. So as I use this stuff, that is something else I'm going to monitor as well. I thought that was a really cool feature. We're going to see if it rings true, because I have dosed the packets to my size aquariums and my loads in my tanks. So we're going to see if I see a change in neurological reactions and quickness in the responses as well. Alright guys, so we're going to move forward with the 29-gallon and the small 10-gallon. I spoke to you about using ChemiPure Green in the 10-gallon I used the ChemiPure Nano. And what the ChemiPure Nano looks like, you're going to get it in a bag like this. It's resealable. Keep in mind, if you have this stuff and you're storing it, you do need to make sure you keep it sealed and stored in these bags for so they don't dry out or go to crap. You need to do this in order to keep the shelf life of this stuff going. But look how tiny these are. Look how, this is the Nano, so they're small. This is ideal for your smaller aquariums, your 10 gallons, your 20 gallons, and lower. I put that in that 10 gallon, like I said. We're going to look at that. But right now, I want to talk about my 29 gallon, which has my small live bear and small fish like that in here. In this tank, I put this ChemiPure Green. This is the 5.5 ounce container. It's good up to 35 gallons, which is ideal for a 29 gallon. Gives me a little bit more than what I need to do its job. I always say a little bit more is always best than right exactly with what you need. What's nice about the ChemiPure Green, it is designed for the freshwater planted aquarium. It does not remove any essential nutrients that the plants need to thrive, but you still get all the benefits of getting the toxins, the odors, the contaminants out of the water and making it pure and clean for your fish. This stuff and what they boast about their product is it's the longest lasting chemical filtration you can use. It can last anywhere from 2 to 4 months. Now this depends on your aquarium, your fish, and how well you keep your tanks. This will help you keep your tanks even healthier, and reduce maintenance. But like I said, when I was regarding my mbuna tank, if you have a lot of stock or you overfeed, you're going to have a lot more stuff in your aquarium water that fouls it. So you're going to have to, this isn't going to last as long. But however, if you keep a well-maintained aquarium and you don't overfeed and you don't have it overly stocked, this stuff's going to last you a lot longer, anywhere up to 4 months. There is no way to tell when this stuff is really exhausted other than to test your water. You can test your water a few days after you put it in, see what it's at, and then let it run for a month or two without doing anything to it and see if it's maintaining it. If you see that you have reduced contaminants and nitrates and stuff like that in your tank, it's doing its job. But if that starts raising over time, it's probably exhausted. It's used to change one. If you use 2 of them together, you got to change one at a time. You don't want to just get rid of all of them at the same time. So change one at a time every week until all bags have been replaced when using multiples. And it gets rid of it also stabilizes your pH. It maintains macronutrient levels. It lasts longer than typical activated carbon. It doesn't strip the aquarium of healthy essential nutrients, and it reduces the need for frequent water changes for a healthy, stable, crystal clear planted aquarium. So you're getting rid of them toxins, the odors, the phenols, heavy metals. Okay, I did just do a nitrate test on this tank. Let's go see what it looks like. First, I'll show you what the tank looks like. So here is my 29 gallon. You can see the water quality looks fantastic as the other two. Um, one thing you can't deny is that it truly does make your water quality crystal clear, and it has that blue-white look to it. You can particularly see that in my mbuna tank. But as you can see, the fish are racing around. The water quality is good. This stuff's been in here for over 18-20 hours now or something like that since I put it in. The plants are looking good. Everything's looking sweet. Now let's go have a look at the nitrates since I tested it. Now anybody knows that uses this API Liquid Master Test Kit, the importance of making sure you're under the right light and using that white background associated with the chart to get a true reading is important. When you're looking at this nitrate test from this level, if I move this card a little bit, it looks like it's a little bit over 20 ppm approaching 30 area. And that is the case. Now keep in mind, I rarely, because of the size of the fish, ever suck out any uneaten food and poop. My aquarium plants usually take care of it and my biological filter. So I did do a water change on this tank a little over a week ago, but all I did was suck water out and put water back in. So right now we're at about 20 ppm, maybe slightly approaching maybe 25 to 30 ppm here. And I will be monitoring this nitrate on this tank without doing water changes or any maintenance and see what ChemiPure can do in here. We'll have a look at that 10-gallon Serpate Tetra tank with the ChemiPure green nano packets in it that I showed you. Now, in this 10-gallon tank here, I'm not so concerned about nitrates in this tank because there's literally only 2 long fin Serpate Tetras in this tank, and that's all. It is ran by a small Tetra Whisper hanging a back filter, which is where I put the ChemiPure green nano packet in. I am waiting 5 minutes for my nitrate result test just to see where it's at, but what I was more interested in using the ChemiPure in this tank was how well it'll break things down, clear the water up, and clean things up, and see what it does with this tank. But as you can see, I always have a hard time kind of keeping it clean. I can scrape all the algae off and take a little gravel vac and clean all the uneaten food and, you know, mulm and stuff that collects at the bottom, but it always seems to come back. You can see all that algae that's coated on things. That's just lack of maintenance in this tank. That's my fault. But just out of curiosity, I wanted to put this nano to the test in this ChemiPure nano in this tank and see what it'll do, just as it is. So let's go see what the nitrates are at. As expected, the nitrates are very low in this tank. You're looking at probably about 10 ppm, like the lower end 10 ppm on the nitrates in that tank. What was it at before I put the ChemiPure green nano in it? I don't know, but we're going to keep monitoring these nitrates as time goes on. Like I said, next Saturday will be a week from when I installed all these chemical filtrations, and we're going to monitor this stuff, and you're going to see the proof on this video. That's it for the day. Now all we can do is wait for time and wait for a week to go by, and we'll come back and give you the results and my opinion on this stuff. So left to right is first the mbuna tank, then the tiger barb tank, then the 29 gallon, and then the 10 gallon we discussed. As you can see on the left, that this is a little bit more of a reddish color. It is 40 ppm. The rest of these are all exactly the same. They show a lighter orange, but if you actually hold this up to the chart with a flashlight, they're approaching 40 ppm as well. 40 ppm nitrates is not a big deal. It really isn't. A lot of people think nitrates are worse on fish than they are. They're just not. It is not a big deal to have high nitrates. I mean, 80 ppm isn't going to harm your fish. There's been studies done by Father Fish and other higher end YouTubers stating that you need to hit a value of like it's something like 400 to 500 ppm before your fish will start feeling effects from nitrates, and that is a value that we can't even achieve in our at-home aquarium. So I'm not really concerned about the fact that it really hasn't kept my nitrates down in that tank at 20 ppm in the orange, because this is basically results I see at the end of every month. By the end of the month, that'll probably be 80 ppm like it normally is. So the ChemiPure Blue really didn't impact a highly stocked African cichlid tank. So, but the other ones are still in the orange. The 29 gallon, the 10 gallon, and the tiger barb tank, they're like 10 to 20 ppm. And normally by now that is raising a little bit, but these are not overstocked tanks. So I think if you don't put too much of a load on the ChemiPure, it can handle it pretty nice, and it's doing a fantastic job as far as water clarity. When the lights turn on, I'll show you both of these tanks. I can show you the 29 now, but that's my take and my experience as you see in this video so far. And as you can see, the 29 gallon looks fantastic. The water quality is great. The clarity is fantastic. The nitrates are low, but keep in mind, the only thing in this tank is small fish, live bearers. You got some neon tetras and ember tetra, a guppy swimming around there. As you can see, there's platies in here. There's a zebra danio, and there's ember tetra. So not a lot of high stocking load in this tank, but it definitely does make the water look a heck of a lot better. And this tank has the green formula in it. Before we get to the water clarity, plus I'm waiting for my lights to turn on this morning. This is the high and low range pH in my mbuna tank. I'm pretty sure it has dropped a little bit. We're sitting at about 7.2 on the low and about 7.0 on the high. I'll have to look back at the video, but prior my pH was higher than this. I always maintained about a 7.8 pH, and the low range was usually a little bit darker blue, 7.6 and up, which matches your high range at 7.8. So this is what we're looking at in the pH in that tank. Alright guys, here's a side-by-side shot of the 55 gallon Tiger Barb tank and the 75 gallon mbuna tank. As you can see, the water clarity is unparalleled. It looks fantastic. So I'll give you a little bit of shot of that, and now I'm going to finish this video up and give you my conclusions and opinions. I think if I'm going to use a chemical filtration, it's going to be ChemiPure. I have better results than anything I've ever used prior. The water clarity, it does a fantastic job at keeping the water crystal clear and looking fantastic. It does give you that blue whitish look it promotes. You can particularly see it in this tank. I've said that before in the video. And the 29 looks good, the 10 gallon looks good. But as far as nitrate control, with this being, like I said in the video, having 2 sacks of the ChemiPure in there, I would have thought that it would have maybe did a better job keeping the nitrates lower, but then again, maybe I have to wait longer. This is my first time using ChemiPure, so maybe it's just the fact that I need to wait longer and give it more time, which I'll do, and we'll monitor for the rest of the month. Since I marked down, I did my last water change, and it's been 2 weeks, so I've got 2 weeks to go, and we'll see where it's at, and I'll do an update video on it. Purigen couldn't do it either. I think when it comes to regulating nitrates, you just need to worry about elbow grease, doing your maintenance. If you want to use chemical filtration to take care of your nitrates, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it does help a little bit with ChemiPure, because at the halfway mark, I do remember my nitrates being a little darker than this. At the end of the month, I'm usually around 80 ppm, a darker red, and this is still just now into the 40s. So again, something I have to play with. I'm not saying it doesn't work, because at the beginning of the video I saw much lighter nitrates, and now I'm seeing darker. But I think it is doing. I think it's putting in a little bit more work keeping the nitrates at bay than Purigen ever did. And the water clarity, like I said, I can't get over that. It hands down, it's going to do a way better job than Purigen does, in my experience. With my tanks, with my fish, it does a way better job than Purigen. pH, as I showed you from the 75 gallon mbuna tank, it might just be because maybe my sand or my Texas Holy Rock is just starting to get exhausted and it's not having the buffering power anymore. I'll have to check back through my videos and this one here and see what the pH was prior to the end of the week. But the pH has dropped a little bit. I don't know if that's the ChemiPure doing its thing to maintain it at that or not, but we'll definitely check into that as well. So, but my opinion, if I'm going to use a chemical filtration, it's going to be ChemiPure for sure. And Boyd Enterprises, I like a lot of their products, such as their Vitachem, and they were awesome enough to send me some of their products to review. Purigen, Seachem, they're not even going to think about me. So for me, kudos to Boyd Enterprises for sending a smaller channel this stuff so they could review their product. That speaks volumes for a company, in my opinion, because you know they're established. Their products speak for themselves, and they're willing to go ahead and send a small channel because they care about what everybody thinks, as opposed to Seachem. They're not going to think about you unless you're monetized and you get a crap ton of views and watch time hours. So if I can, I'll be getting rid of a lot of Chem products besides Prime and Stability. Other than that, the company's mentality seems subpar compared to Boyd Enterprises. So when I do reviews on videos, I also like to do a review of the company, and I've contacted Chem many times, and they won't even think about me. They don't even have the audacity to email me back and say no. They won't even do that. I'm too below them. Where Boyd Enterprises, yeah, here, let's send it to you. So great company, great mentality, great product. If you want to try chemical filtration and see how this stuff works for yourself, you can watch this entire video, and you're going to see it from start to finish with live proof. So that's it. Thanks for watching this video. I know it was longer winded. I don't usually like to do really long videos like this because I think people lose interest over time. But when you're trying to make a week's worth of stuff and condense it down into a shortest video you can, it's hard to do, especially when you're reviewing something like this because you want accurate results. But leave your comments below. Let me know if you like chemical filtration, if you use ChemiPure or VitaChem. I use VitaChem every week. I love it. Multivitamin for fish. And let me know your experience with that. So let me know what you thought about this video. And until next video, guys, be safe. I certainly appreciate your time. Have a good weekend.